Beyond the preponderance of evidence, the two counts in which the two separate defendants, Lakeshore and Cool Tech, were so rightfully charged with today. The first count, intrusion upon seclusion, which the plaintiff must prove. If spying on Jamie without her knowledge through a webcam in her own bedroom doesn't perfectly describe intrusion upon seclusion, I'm not sure anything does. Count 2 is the eavesdropping violation. The plaintiff had an expectation of privacy and conducted their conversations under circumstances justifying that expectation. Also, in addition to monitoring and intercepting the plaintiff's conversations, Lakeshore and Cool Tech knowingly aided its own employees in doing the same. The plaintiff has proved both of these counts today to meet their burden, enough to tip the scale, and I hope that you jurors would agree. There's an old saying, if you can't convince them, confuse them. Members of the jury, this is exactly what the defense has done to you today. I ask you to listen to the facts and what the witnesses have presented to you today. Today, you have heard from Jamie Smith, the plaintiff in this case, state that she has been damaged by this event, that she'll be walking down the street and she has no idea how many people that are looking at her and laughing could have been one of the over 800 employees of Cool Tech that were allowed into her bedroom through the Trojan horse theft trap. You also heard her state, as many as other witnesses, that the contract was between Lakeshore Computers and Jamie Smith. Nowhere in the entire contract was Cool Tech. The Cool Tech Industries was not a party in this contract. Therefore, where was the right given to Cool Tech to access any part of Jamie Smith's laptop? The answer to that question is there never was a right. You also heard from Sydney Ampleforth say that she talked to Pat and Reese multiple times about her concerns from the very beginning, and they did nothing of these concerns. You've heard from Hayden Blair, who stated that she used pictures and had these weekly peep show parties on the weekends to kind of have a laugh and for the exposure of these high school students, rewarding the funniest picture with Burger King crowns. You've heard from Reese Charrington today state that Lakeshore and Cool Tech were two separate companies. Therefore, again, further justifying the fact that Jamie Smith, the plaintiff in this case, never signed a contract with Cool Tech, granting them the right to access her laptop. You've heard from Pat O'Brien, who stated that he wanted to start out with a small program and had no blueprint for this type of school to go off of. You've heard from Morgan Parsons today state that they themselves had concerns, and they were surprised by the implementation of the computer process and didn't think there was enough time to think through all the kinks. Members of the jury, as I've stated earlier, the plaintiff has the burden of proof in this case. We have proved our burden through the scopes of both plaintiff and defense witnesses. We ask that there be no other finding than that applicable on the counts in which the two defendants, Lakeshore and Cool Tech, have been rightfully charged with today. We ask that there be some monetary compensation for college and therapy for this terrible event, and as well as the pictures to be deleted, any data of these peep shows still left over. Thank you, Your Honor.